Every gardener dreams of soil so alive that it practically hums when you walk across it. A garden bed that stays moist through summer heat. That smells earthy, feels soft under your fingers, and seems to grow stronger every season. But here's the hard truth. You don't get that kind of soil from just compost or fertilizer, you get it from earthworms, and lots of them. Now, most gardeners know that worms are good, but very few understand how to keep them. You might toss in kitchen scraps or water your soil regularly, but worms don't just come for the food, they stay for the environment. And in today's guide, we're revealing a truly strange but brilliant trick that transforms your beds into an earthworm paradise. It's not fancy, it's not expensive. In fact, you probably have it lying around already. And when buried properly, it draws in worms like magnets, turning even lifeless clay into living soil. But before we dive into the weird item that's sparking worm wars under the mulch, let's slow down for a minute. Think about what earthworms need: moisture, food, shelter, and soil structure that lets them breathe and move freely. When one of those factors is missing, like in dry, compacted, or overworked beds, worms vanish. They dive deep in the heat. They avoid synthetic chemicals. They won't stick around if the buffet is dry and the bedding's uncomfortable. So, what if you could give them all of that at once in a single buried package? That's where this strange little secret comes in. Believe it or not, one of the most powerful worm attractants you can bury in your bed is old natural fiber scraps. Not food, not fancy compost, but forgotten bits of used rabbit bedding, hay, fur, and droppings, or even 100% cotton or wool clothing. That might sound odd, but these materials check every single box worms look for when deciding where to live, eat, and breed. Let's talk about why it works. First, the food. Earthworms feed on decaying organic matter. Natural fibers like hay, fur, cotton, and wool break down slowly and release carbon-rich nutrients over time. When mixed with a little nitrogen from droppings or leafy greens, they create a slow-release buffet for worms and soil microbes alike. Unlike fresh food scraps, which can rot too quickly or attract pests, these fibers decompose gradually, providing a steady food source for weeks or even months. Next, moisture retention. One of the biggest reasons gardeners lose earthworms during summer is dry soil. Natural fibers are excellent at holding moisture. When buried a few inches down, they act like tiny sponges, keeping the surrounding soil cool and damp even when the surface bakes. That alone is enough to stop worms from retreating deep underground in search of refuge. With moisture locked in close to the surface, worms stay active where you want them, near your plant roots. Then comes structure. As these fibers decay, they create tiny air pockets and channels in the soil. That increases oxygen availability and improves drainage. Clay soil? These buried bundles loosen it up from below, giving worms room to tunnel and roots space to breathe. Sandy soil? The fibers slow down water movement and prevent nutrients from washing away too quickly. Now, here's where timing matters. Spring and fall are your golden windows. The soil is cooler, the moisture is more consistent, and worms are naturally more active. Burying these materials in early spring gives them time to start breaking down right as your plants begin waking up. In fall, adding fiber-rich bedding or clothing gives the worms a cozy winter feast to nibble on as they prepare for dormancy. Summer's heat drives worms deeper, and frozen winter soil slows decomposition. So, avoid major additions during those extremes unless you're layering under thick mulch. Let's talk specifics. Rabbit bedding is honestly one of the best materials for this trick. It contains hay, which is a high-carbon feedstock, along with droppings rich in nitrogen, plus fur, all of which break down at different rates to keep microbial activity balanced. It's already partially composted by the time you clean it out of the hutch, making it just perfect for in-ground burial. Simply dig a trench or, a series of holes between your plants, fill them with the bedding, and then cover it all up with soil and mulch. Within a few weeks, you'll start to notice, richer, darker soil forming right around the zone where it was buried. But what if you don't raise rabbits? No problem. Just look around for old 100% cotton t-shirts, wool socks, or even threadbare towels. As long as the material is pure fiber and free from any dyes, synthetics, or chemical treatments, it's totally usable. Tear the cloth into small pieces to increase surface area, soak them in water for a day or two to jumpstart decomposition, then bury them 6 to 8 inches deep around your plants. Avoid burying polyester, blends, or chemically treated materials. They won't break down, and they'll pollute your soil instead. Now a word of caution. While worms love these buried treasures, so do some pests. Never bury greasy kitchen scraps, meat, dairy, or oily materials. These don't break down cleanly and can invite rodents or flies. Stick to dry, fibrous materials and clean organic bedding. Also, go slow at first. Burying too much can overwhelm your soil's microbial balance. Observe how your bed reacts, and scale up over time. In just one season of doing this, you'll start to notice big changes. Your soil will hold moisture longer, you'll see more worms under mulch and in planting holes. Plant roots will reach deeper. And your beds will feel different, softer, cooler, and more alive. You're not just adding worm food, you're rebuilding the entire soil ecosystem from the bottom up. This weird trick might sound too simple to be powerful, but that's the beauty of it. Nature thrives on what we often throw away. What was once considered trash, old bedding, worn clothes, dry hay, is actually a gift to the soil. You don't need fancy amendments or expensive inputs. Just a shovel, some forgotten fabric, and the patience to let the worms do their work. If this guide gave you a new idea or helped you see your waste pile in a whole new way, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and share it with fellow gardeners who still think compost is the only answer. At Hydro Haven, we're all about soil-first solutions that work with nature, not against it. So stick with us, and we'll keep uncovering the buried secrets that turn lifeless dirt into fertile ground. Until next time, happy digging. And may the worms fight over your beds too.